All right, we're going live.
Doesn't know how to dance.
We're
doing it live.
We're doing it live.
I thought it would be really cool to convince her to let me teach a
DJ one
Zumba
day?
class,
Hey.
but
No, it's not a bad idea, Steve.
do the
We're live now.
I know,
And-
but
okay.
I would teach the Zumba class,
sure we
but
have
the whole
audio?
Zumba class, my instructions would be the first level of Parappa the Rapper.
Oh my god. I actually vote for that idea. I like
All right.
that.
Okay, it's working. We have audio and everything else.
That's the great intro right there.
That's a great intro. Steve's gonna start rapping our intros.
No, I gotta are me and Eric the only two who played that game?
All right.
Apparently,
Actually, I played the demo.
I had the demo. Kick punch.
All right, we got people from the Virgin Islands, Sacramento, Pensacola. I've been to Pensacola. You're in the same time zone as us, I think. Or no, you're one time zone over.
Probably.
So, hey, welcome to Vlog Thursday. We've had a fun day of well, go check my Twitter account. There's a Leaky Cat 5 cable that Steve pulled some water out of.
Yeah, it was like cutting a water hose.
It was like cutting a water
And
hose.
actually, that's also why the end was corroded. The water actually went all the way down and came back up the RJ40 out the RJ45.
Yep.
Yes,
Right,
this
it
is
wasn't
on
blue cable.
this is on my Twitter. If you want to see the video of what happens when you cut a waterlogged Cat 5 cable going across the ceiling in a warehouse.
It's amusing.
So it's amusing. It was our entertainment for the day, but we've actually been busy fixing things all day. That's why Vlog Thursday is
Cat 5
happening now. And we decided to do it here because there's still work to be done. And this is the new guy. He's officially here. He's not just
He's
hanging
officially
out.
the new guy, not just the weird intern guy.
He's not the weird.
Right.
He went from weird intern to weird employee.
Full-time intern.
So he's full-time intern. I have to pay him when you remove the intern. That means I got to put payroll
You
in
could
for
have
him.
paid interns.
Yeah, I guess you could have paid interns.
And I
So
think-
who would do that, though?
Can you pay interns under
20.
minimum wage?
I don't know. These are
That's
questions.
actually-
I don't know the law regarding this.
Eric may be getting a demotion.
Yeah.
All right, I had to fix the microphone, but I don't know. I mean, can you pay interns less than minimum wage? I don't know if that's how
They're
it
working
works.
for experience.
Yes. Life.
Hey,
experience.
thank you for someone sending me posting to Twitter. Follow the Twitter post, and you can go on there. My Twitter is easy to find. It's
They Googled your Twitter and posted it to the YouTube.
Google my Twitter, posted it in the YouTubes. It's all good. I'm sitting in a kid's chair because there's normally not enough chairs for me here because I'm usually in my office. But the Zumba person next door, because we're in a strip mall, is going whoa, whoa, whoa. She goes full fire.
Sometimes she makes car alarm noises.
She makes car alarm
Yeah.
noises, so we didn't want to go in there because it resonates in my office because the speaker that she has a headset and a speaker. If you've ever wondered when you hear some background music, it's not me, it's them.
And if it's good background music, it might be me. If it's bad background music, it might be her.
Yeah, Kyle has good background music. She's got not so good background music. So, anyways, we just been busy, and it's we can't even do it this long today because we got to get back to work. We got all these computers we're doing a new install for, so we're teaching a new guy how to prep systems before they go on site to the client. Actually, I was kicking out of my way down here as all the boxes to all of them are all here. We really like these. What are they?
Yeah, they're Lenovo
Lenovo
Think
Think
Centers.
Centers.
Lenovo Think Centers.
I think they're the M700s, if I remember correctly. Really sturdy hardware, really nice.
Yeah, these are nice computers. There's a bunch of them.
You can get them from the Things We Like tab on our website.
Yeah, they are available
Yeah.
on our website, and we'll add them to our Amazon store as well.
Yeah, so they're all over here. I don't know. I mean, I've thought about do I review those things? Hey, someone from Moscow, Idaho.
Oh.
Yeah, Steve was excited at Moscow, and then Idaho.
Yeah.
That was the
Moscow, Idaho.
Also, you can
Potatoes,
get to
though.
your Twitter from your
Both have
YouTube
potatoes.
page.
Okay.
You've got it
Both
right on
have
the front page of
potatoes.
YouTube. So
But no, it's been a little bit more hectic than usual. I've been doing my usual replying to many people's emails, doing more and more work, and it's been good. It's been a little bit confusing because let's talk about people who message me. I have a lot of people that message me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Some of them though, and I'm not trying to be an ass or anything, but I reply sometimes with forum links. Because sometimes if you just send me an email with a tech support message, like a screenshot of a bunch of stuff, and maybe I can look at it and figure it out, but especially if someone's having just a plethora of vague problems. I'm like, these problems are weird. You need to post them in a forum. And the reason I do that is not because I'm trying to be dismissive of anyone. It's I'm trying to share with the class. And if you have an error message, I've sometimes done this when people email me. I copied the error message code, paste into Google. The result of what they need to do is the first search result. And I don't mind, but at some point I start charging for these things because if you have access to my email, you have access to Google. So like tech support's fine, but I get people who get mad at me when I say I have a fee for tech support. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to, be bad about this. I just want to be clear. And I have a forum set up that we have a link to for our Facebook forums. Please post an error, and you'll actually find that even not myself, but lots of people may be having the same issue, and they will go ahead and comment as well and have solutions to your problem. So you'll get better response than you will on direct messaging me, Twitter, email, or all the other forums that people send things. So just want to throw that out there for those of you who watch this live stream. Like, I don't mind. I've replied so far, I think, to 78 emails today. I was adding it up because I realized I spent a lot of time doing it, but some of those emails were just like a screenshot of what's wrong. So anyways, moving on, pfSense versus OpenSense. People keep asking me. I haven't been, I want to. I downloaded the ISO for OpenSense, and now it's old because we came out with an updated version. It's on my to-do list because I get so caught up doing work that I don't always have time to review everything I want. But I'm trying to. That's why we hired Eric, so I can throw more work at Eric, right? And because I love testing firewalls. It's fun, but the other side of it is I got to have time to test firewalls. So there's definitely an issue there. What about the, no one brought it up yet, but someone will, because whenever I mention firewalls, we were talking about these earlier here, the MikroTik?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, MikroTik, however you say it, MikroTik, MikroTik, one of those pronunciations, Microtic. One of those pronunciations is probably right, 80% chance. But I get a lot of requests for those, and I haven't found any compelling reason to use them. And this comes back to a lot of firewalls. Like, OpenSense is pretty cool. It's a fork of pfSense. I'm interested in looking at it because they have their own take on how a BSD firewall should be implemented. So that seemed pretty cool. Seems interesting. They added some features that make it worthy, and it's a software-based firewall, which I like. But when someone asks, hey, why don't you review some random off-brand firewall or a weirdly complicated firewall, because everyone has told me, and I've looked a little bit at the interface, that the MikroTik ones are complicated, where's my interest? I like the UniFi equipment. We still haven't got a chance to do a latest UniFi VPN video. It's coming. If you can see in the background behind Steve, there's a stack of UniFis. We actually VPN'd them together. Yeah. All the work is done. They just aren't, we haven't done the video on it because it takes time to do the video. So
we got to figure out how to do the video. Because one's at my house, one's at your house.
I guess you just talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
We made the magic happen. Now what? The deed has been done.
The deed has been done. The magic has happened.
The magic's gone.
Yeah, so it's always that balancing act. But yeah, that's part of the goal is to do it. And also with winter is coming. Make your memes. Yeah. Make your memes. But as winter gets here, if you guys were to actually chart my obsessive behaviors, I obsess more in the winter with technology because I don't go outside as much. So winter, I make more of my videos were made on either bad weather days or winter days here in Michigan, because during the summer I take more weekends off to disappear on my motorcycle, or even afternoons off to go disappear on my motorcycle. I am obsessive about things, so I either obsessively ride my motorcycle or I obsessively do technology stuff because they're both passions. But it's a thing. And today I was supposed to get a lot more stuff done, but then I got disrupted because family came to visit and all that fun stuff. So the productivity level got kind of tanked.
A little bit.
And then Monday was an off day, and then we did Monday was an off day, but it was off from physical building opening because it was Labor Day, but we still did work. We migrated a database server for a client, and I did. So
I was reading. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Me and Willie Howe did. So me and Willie Howe did a database project together on Monday morning. So at 7 a.m. Willie's like me; he likes to get up early. Because we should probably talk about is how do you feel about delegation, Steve? That perhaps one IT guy managing a place doesn't do it well?
Yeah.
So we're talking about
Use
this.
contractors.
Yeah, use contractors.
You don't have
Sometimes
to-
you got to contract another guy who works at 7 a.m. because nobody else in your company's getting up at 7 a.m.
Because nobody else in your company knows SQL Server either.
That
so,
too.
That's it. So let's talk about this from a business perspective because I don't understand it. So we're dealing with this directly and it's affecting us. And by the way, CYA. If you work in IT, CYA.
Email everything.
Email everything. Because we almost got, well, there was an attempt to throw us under the bus. But that's when you hold
But
up
then
the
it
email.
backfired and then they wound up under the bus.
They still wound up under the bus. Throwing us under the bus doesn't work really well. So we have a client we work with.
Oh, sorry. Willie's watching.
Willie's
Hi,
watching.
Willie.
Hey, Willie.
Oh, God, my sled!
He's like, oh, I saw my name as I came in. What I miss?
Yeah. We're thanking Willie for, because he's just here now, we're thanking Willie for what a great job he did. I contracted Willie to do a database migration because I don't do SQL with Windows. I will do MariaDB. I like Linux databases. I'm much more comfortable in the Linux database world. I'm much less comfortable with the Microsoft world. Like, okay, I get the gist of it, and I could probably muddle my way through it, but it's worth my time to hire an expert. And in this case was Willie to get the migration done. And he did it faster than I could have, so I technically saved myself time. It's all billable work that the client has no problem paying for. We got the database done, and I could then spend the rest of my Monday doing something else, as opposed to me guessing my way through it because I'm determined to know every tech thing under the sun. But that comes to the CYA and delegation. First, CYA. This is important. We have a client. They contract us for a special project. They have an internal IT department. We're friends with the board that runs this client, and so the management knows how the IT people work, and they like everything in email. They really like, the management people really like us. So they tell the IT department, hey, lean on these guys for resources. Well, they got a new IT guy. And I was actually part of the consulting that was contracted to hire the guy. And he passed really well in terms of getting the guy hired. Said all the right
knows
things.
the
and
stuff.
He's really intelligent. There is no guy. The guy is super smart. The problem is, he is not a delegator. He's a micromanager. And he micromanages everything and has literally said things to us like, you probably shouldn't email me. I have several thousand unread emails. It's easier if you just send things with your staff on Post-it notes. And we're like, what?
He actually
He
sent
pinned the
Corey
note to
back.
Corey.
He
Yeah.
pinned a note to Corey. He took a Post-it note and a clothespin or whatever, and
He didn't really take a clothespin, but he did.
Yeah.
He, like, stick it to Corey, basically.
He stick it. He just wrote a Post-it note with instructions because he's so overwhelmed with email. And he has other staff that he's supposed to be delegating things to, and he's not. So when our part of the project comes up and we hit walls of things he hasn't done, and we CYA'd ourselves by having an email trail of all the different things that we said what dates we said we were doing them, requests to him and everything. And when he tries to say,
lack
well,
of responses.
yeah, lack of responses from him, and we CC management on this. So when he tried to throw us under the bus today, we just were like, hold on, let me show you an email we got right here where we sent the email and you didn't reply. We sent another email, you didn't reply. We CC'd management who goes, yeah, we got that email. And we're like, okay, now what? So real important to CUA. Second part of this, that's important just if you're an outside contractor, don't get screwed. Second thing is, why is someone throwing crap in my...
All the
Emojis.
emojis.
I'm about to ban emoji person. And put user, remove. Is remove user?
It's all the same person.
There we go. We've removed the emoji person.
Do they have a name?
Nope.
No, you didn't. You removed that post.
Oh, I read that post.
Damn it.
Hide user on this channel.
I think that's.
Report
I think. Sure.
unwanted content or spam. Oh, if. No, not if. Now I gotta... Man, they gotta make this easier.
Jeez.
They gotta make deleting people out of my live stream easier.
As easy as deleting people out of your life.
Okay, I've now eliminated that person.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
Okay, cool.
That's a start.
That person's gone. Sorry, emoji person. I have no idea. Anyways, the next part of it is, after you CYA, you got that covered. That's just important all the time. I worked in corporate. Definitely in corporate. It's a cutthroat world. And CYA everything. If it's not an email, it didn't happen. But delegation is so important. And this is where this guy's second part of his failure is. First, he's not realizing how CYA we are, but then he doesn't delegate anything. This is how things aren't getting done right now. He has a staff capable of doing it. He has been given both the budget and the authorization to use us for everything. And we go around installing things like, oh, perhaps this camera, and perhaps there's a reason it's back here because he decided to take on part of the project himself, and did he double assigned IP addresses to a camera?
No, that one never got configured. Then I tried to put a static on it. Then it got mad.
But it's the whole thing. Yeah. It is just, yeah, it's just one of those things. It kind of drives me crazy that he just won't delegate. The other people, like there's other staff sitting around going, doesn't delegate to us either. And he's been told he's got security projects he's behind on. There's like so many things. And he's like, well, I'm trying to come in under budget. He said that once. And I'm like, yeah, but your systems are all a mess. Like you have an unhappy staff. You have an unhappy, because IT is a support function.
I guess it took him a week to reset a domain password for a user who locked themselves out.
Yeah, a week to reset a password. I mean,
Well,
that was one of their complaints today on that.
There was also that recent, we can't ping the NVR. Oh, has anybody checked that since that building lost power like a week ago? It's just not looking at it.
yeah, there's just like this constant, like we've had proposals one after another with this guy. We're like, look, it drives us crazy because it's kind of the pain. Because we spend, and this is a hard to bill for time. You have this more management engagement time and aggravation with the client when a lot of it we flat rated, so to speak. We're like, this is the price to get this done. And, we've had a little bit of add-in for the price. We're charging them a lot to kind of deal with it. But you still don't want to have a bunch of management time in this. So it's just like, So, yeah, it is just kind of a mess. And Willie says, nice beard.
I was waiting for him to
Oh,
stop.
thanks, man.
Willie likes your beard.
Willie said that Willie's a beard guy himself, so.
Okay.
All right.
I think Willie's got a beard right now. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I don't remember people's faces.
Willie sounds like he'd have a beard.
A guy named Willie
sounds
should-
like it'd be a fisherman.
Willie can
And
be a fisherman.
how?
Willie does do steel work. I think that's something he's doing. I seen something about metallurgy. Anyways, Willie can tell you about that if he wants to. But this is one of those things in IT that when you work in the business side can be very aggravating as you engage. And we like working with a lot of other IT because we have another IT company. We like working with them. They just are very confused all the time. But that's okay. That's where we come in. And we've had a great working relationship and they pay their bills. And so we don't mind the confusion. But when someone actually tries to actively throw us under a bus and cause this constant management stuff, I'm just like, this becomes sometimes the aggravation of my job. And this is also why and it's not just people from YouTube that I respond to a lot of emails. A lot of my day is responding to a lot of emails. I have a new one. I'm not clear. I'm about to send another email. They want me to do, okay, yeah, Willie's got a blacksmithing channel. He's starting soon. So I guess, yes.
That
Neat.
sounds
10
awesome.
out of 10, I'd do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think they don't watch my videos, Willie, but they're going to watch your videos on blacksmithing. All
No,
of them
probably
are.
not.
Oh, no? I don't know.
Rude.
And a barbecue channel.
A barbecue
Wait,
channel,
who?
too.
Barbecue.
He's
Willie
making
Howe.
a barbecue
Willie.
channel?
Barbecue and blacksmith, and then also does networking stuff.
Like, is the barbecue and the blacksmithing channel the same?
No, they're separate.
Because it'd be cool if they're the same.
Like here, I'm gonna cast this thing, and then
Kid-
over here, I'm gonna
oh,
flip
that-
the steak.
Yes!
Yes.
That
Willie,
I'd watch.
yeah.
There's some good crossover opportunity there.
It's a niche market.
Make a sword and cook steak.
Yeah.
We're honing some ideas for you. So if you barbecue while
Make a sword
making
and do
steak,
the gaucho thing yourself.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Here's some thoughts. So, anyways, so yeah, this work in IT can be kind of difficult at times because there's so much manpower that goes into managing people, and it is the wearing part of the shop because I like getting into the very technical side and diving right into it. But that's just some of the pain of it. I can't remember what else I was going to talk about, but I know I can't talk for a whole lot of time. Yeah, Willie's got to work on channels he can monetize. He can tell you that story. He's got things. Let's go back to firewalls. So, Pete K, question. I work at MSP. Would you consider automation so customers call less a good thing? Oh, yeah. Anytime you can figure out a way so customers can call less, absolutely. That is definitely helpful.
Like, we love our customers, but we don't want to talk to them all the time.
So the next question is, how do you handle tools, vehicles, and assigning projects to employees? Do your employees get tools assigned to them, or are all these part of the vehicle inventory?
Everybody has their own vehicle and tools.
Yeah, everyone has their own vehicle and tools. The company purchases the tools, so we don't have like a tool. We're not like the place that has a tool crib where you check in the meter, or you check out the meter.
Corey be in trouble all the time.
Corey be in trouble all the time.
I had to use his crimps today, and like the razor on him, it just has a huge gash in it, and I can't snip the wire ends with this thing. I'm like, this is horrible.
Hey, thank you, Miguel. So no, we don't really handle the tools. Everyone just has their own, because I think in general, and if you go to any mechanic garage, for example, everyone has their own tool sets. Everyone comes in. If you hire a professional mechanic, like in a commercial environment, I have a few friends that work in that industry. You hire the mechanic, and he just comes with all the tools. Everyone has their own tool sets.
Because they have what they like.
They have what they like,
Yeah.
and like. It clearly doesn't bother Corey that his razor's damaged, but when Steve had to borrow Corey's tool, it bothers Steve that Corey's razor's damaged. Corey gets his job done. I don't care if his razor's damaged or not, and I don't want to care. I just care that the wiring gets all put in, and it's all billable at the end of the day and works. That's what really matters. So I don't really deal with it in that way. So yeah, you kind of got to, and when it comes to the tools, we're not sharing tools that often, so I guess it's really not a big deal. Tom, can we give your opinion on companies doing SSL inspection of monitor employees? Yeah, Corey video soon was a month ago. SSL inspection. So how are we doing SSL? I'll tell you how we do it. So we're using the SolarWinds platform. And we have the ability to whitelist, blacklist websites and create reports on employees that we can give to management that pay for our MSP services. Currently, we don't really have any active things going. Like, we don't have like regular reports we send because they don't want them. But when there's a question, they can get them. And that's kind of what's important, because our system, SolarWinds, does log where each employee goes. The way that works is the SolarWinds installs its own endpoint manager on each workstation. So we're not trying to do it at the firewall level, which is always the pain in the butt way to do it. So if you can put a trusted cert on the firewall, and if you put the trusted cert on the firewall, then you can install the cert on every device in between, phones or whatever, and then they can inspect the SSL traffic. And some companies do that. And I'll give the example of even where my wife works at Quicken Loans. Even her phone has a VPN and an SSL cert they installed so they can monitor all traffic of everything going on. Some companies, if they really have a need and they want to watch everything, they can do that. Most of the time for our clients, and most of it's in the small business market, they're perfectly fine with the MSP solution that we have. And matter of fact, most of the employers don't want the phones because they're not providing them, so they say, hey, if you're going to play on Facebook, play on your phone. You don't play on our computers, which I've seen that a policy adopted a lot more. And I think that's a great policy. Don't screw around on a computer. Play with Facebook on your phone or whatever device you brought with you. It's not part of the company network. It's on the guest network. It's a separate entity, so it's not a big deal. So I don't have a problem with it. The other side of it is, I see this pop up a lot in discussion forums of, I want to hire some people. I'm one-man band, but I want to log every little thing they do. And I'm like, I think you might be hiring some of the wrong people when you have to consider all the spying you want to do. Like, they wanted a constant screen recorder on each of their staff, and I'm like, I don't really want to record each of their screens.
I don't think I've had that since like middle school.
Yeah.
So
Hire better people. We've had to tell a couple people that.
Like how do I stop these people from going there? Tell them not to go there. They keep going. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
They're being insubordinate at that point. Like,
Yeah.
you're telling them not to do
There's
it,
that.
and they're doing it.
yeah, there's sometimes you just have you're hiring some of the wrong people, and it's the same thing. I've seen a few people complain about trying to find the right people, and I'm like, sometimes you're just not picking the right fit, and this is something that if you read any of Richard Branson's books, I've always liked his perspective on business. And there's other people that believe the absolute opposite of him. You know, Richard Branson, hire smart people. Well, and many other very successful people too. Hire smart people. Other people I've heard, less successful people, well, I don't want anyone working there that's smarter than me. And I'm like, you see this sometimes in tiers of management where they don't want to hire someone smart because they're afraid they'll take their job. And I'm like, they took my job. No. But, I don't get that. Like, I hire people that know things that I don't. I'm also swear on the vlogs. But I hire people that know things I don't know, and you delegate it out. I suck at design. Melissa does my website design. She works for me doing that. You know, there's just Steve knows stuff and muddles through things. I don't know Cisco stuff.
I'm good at solving puzzles.
Steve
if you
solves
give me
puzzles.
enough time, I'll figure anything
Give
out.
Steve enough time, he'll figure it out. He's way better at Cisco than me. I'm bad at Cisco, but I have no interest in getting better on it. You know, I contract out. I don't know SQL. I contracted Willie to do a SQL database. I mean, these are...
I do hardware things.
Yeah, I don't do hardware things very good either. Steve's better at that than I am. So those are... I don't know. So...
Bye, Willie.
Willie's got to take... Willie's got to get to work. Ooh. Willie's got the podcast thing going too. We're going to talk about that soon.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Neat.
PF
sent you is really to ask about outdoor Wi-Fi. Is there kilometers away ranges that connect wireless camera or brand model you would recommend?
Not wireless.
Not wireless.
Really, wireless cameras are all pretty rough.
No, the way we do camera systems is, and we do this a lot for our builds and our design. I give some videos on this because we've got a lot of installs like this. Let's say you have, and we have one actually mounted on a sign in the front of their building. There's no underground cabling, but there is power because the sign has lights on it. So we put a site-to-site on there. So you go buy a couple UniFi site-to-sites, for example. They're relatively expensive. You can buy them for about $100 a piece. So $200 for the site-to-site, and then we mount the camera to the sign and the site-to-site to the sign. Matter of fact, they mentioned they may want to add another camera. And we have some places that have like 3 or 4 cameras. One site-to-site will run a bunch of cameras. And that's kind of the way you get it. So I don't recommend any wireless cameras. I haven't found any that I think are amazing when it comes to outdoor ones. But you can just run a site-to-site UniFi and get the camera far as away as you want.
Yeah, I'd say the G3 micros are nice, but they're not outdoor.
They're not
all
outdoor
magnetic.
cameras. Yeah, the G3 Micro by UniFi, not a bad camera. I talked about them in one of my last videos. But yeah, they're not. I don't think they're outdoor rated at all, so they're not going to work for that. Why are you storing passwords in Wikimedia when there's a clear text versus any password manager like LastPass? So we use both. So you're asking why we use a wiki. The problem is the volume of data and structured, when you talk about having an entire list of knowledge and a whole write-up on a client that is just tons of information, you can't fit that into like LastPass. It doesn't really fit in there. So that's why we use a wiki, because it's an entire documentation for all their things. And wikis are the easiest way to do that. And the wiki is all locked down and secured on a separate network with firewall authorization and then 2-factor authentication with only specific users. So that's how we handle that. Have I played with the USX XG8 yet? Nope, have not.
We're not open anymore.
Yeah. Constantly mention that you provide documentation to customers after a job. What documentation do you provide? What software do you use to compose it? We're just sending them an Invoice Ninja with what we did. If sometimes we'll attach, if needed, like a write-up sheet for it. Most customers don't care.
They mostly just want the debriefing of why were you here today?
Yeah.
They want,
like
yeah.
How
today,
much does it cost me?
with the place we cut the water-logged wire,
Yeah.
I just went in his office, gave him a debrief of, we had to run you a new line, the one was waterlogged, there was a break in it on your roof. Oh, how'd that happen? It's been on a flat roof, and this is Michigan. It's been up there for 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's the thing, we've part of it too is people overthink the hell out of it. I see people send me these incredibly long scope of work, and I'm like, what do you want me to do again? It's almost, it's 14.
It's almost illegible.
Yeah, and with one of the people we're working with that we did a local project for, like their scope of work is huge, and it was like, oh, you just want me to program a VLAN. Why didn't you say that? That's like one sentence in an email.
There's 16 pages here that pretty much just says, I want you to program a VLAN.
Yeah, and so a lot of times what we give back to clients, now when we're doing a project, let's say we're setting up a server and they want a little bit more documentation, but just a type up, like it's not,
Yeah.
some people overthink the hell out of things.
Here's a spreadsheet. I left it on the server for you under the admin user. Go log in on that server of all the users you had me set up, and there's their passwords for it, so you can hand them out to all your users.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times really, really simple. Structured cabling. I've seen people, and this comes back to like structured cabling. I've seen people do this. They're like, oh no, I use a Visio, and then I design what do they use that? I forget, remember, I've seen people do it, and they'll do an entire template of the ports with little lines drawn. I'm like, that looks cool, but
How much administrative time did you
Yeah,
spend on
We'd have to
this?
raise our prices.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of administrative time. We rarely do that. Most of the time with structured cabling, it's documented and labeled, and sometimes just a spreadsheet again, and the client's perfectly fine with that. Port 23 is this. Port 24 is that. We keep it very simple, and we're doing. Okay, bigger jobs, but we're doing a couple hundred drops, and it has been completely adequate. We handed off a couple different IT companies tech companies that we did work for. We did the physical structure, handed off to our IT team with just a spreadsheet, and they were thrilled. They thought that was completely adequate. They didn't need anything more or anything else. So, how do we deal with regulatory compliance? You just follow the rules. I need a better question than that.
Wear a safety harness when working at heights.
Yeah.
Get working at heights training.
OSHA.
Yeah. Are you talking about like when we have to deal with OSHA, or when we have to deal with HIPAA, or when we have to deal with Sarbanes-Oxley, or we have to whatever the compliance is, you make sure the
minimum
tools
wage laws or
minimum wage
Don't look at me.
laws.
no, that would be me. Don't look at me.
Yeah. And why do you use a hosted base wiki instead of knowledge base? We self-host the wiki. It's all in here. So all of that is locally hosted inside of our building. We don't stick it in the cloud somewhere. That's part of the
Cloud's
reason
a
I host
scary
it.
place.
Cloud's a scary place.
Yes.
And then what happens if the cloud goes down? We've heard of companies that happen to that.
Yeah.
They put it on a cloud server. The cloud server went down, and they couldn't solve any tickets for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's the whole thing. If you put it on the cloud and you don't have access to it, then that just sucks. We host it locally, so there's no worry about it escaping. It's on a specialized private network. It's a lockdown. It doesn't go out to the internet. It's not internet accessible. I don't have it public facing, and that always worries me. So all these different places, like I'll throw it out there. I don't know anything about the company, but you have IT Glue. I just know because they advertise so much that they're a popular company. They can be perfectly great, and some people really seem to like them, and you're just taking all of your client knowledge and putting it in their servers where all their staff, everyone that works there, has complete access to it. As long as they hire all good employees, they never have a problem, they vet them properly, but I am delegating all the knowledge that I have on all my clients. That is a critical piece of knowledge that I need to have. I need to have both access to it, and I need to have confidence that it's not wandering around the internet. Then this other company also, I have to trust them just as much.
Yeah,
So
you're creating a lot more variables for security.
yeah, you're creating a lot more variables. Your attack surface is huge, and I'm sure that they're following audits and some levels of compliance internally, but you also have zero visibility into their network. And there was recently a company, and the name eludes me.
Down recently? Was
What's
it
that?
IT Glue or was it somebody else?
There was somebody else that went down.
Okay.
There was recently one of the other MSP companies, and I ranted about it. I have a video about it, but they didn't have two-factor on. They didn't have two-factor turned on. Think about that for a second. So, and here's a company that you assumed was following all the rules. They claim on their website to be security-minded and everything bells and whistles and dots crossed, and oh yeah, we do all this stuff here, but they weren't. And it just worries me, all these companies that try to hurry up and grow fast and gain clients and get funded as a startup, and yeah, sometimes they take shortcuts, and I worry about that, so we keep all of that internal. That's why I don't put it all out in the cloud. I have a good relationship with my employees. Yeah, I guess I'm here with them sometimes more than I'm with my family.
Unfortunately, like the children he didn't want.
These are like my other children.
Actually, that's what his wife says about me. I'm like the child she never wanted.
Yeah, and then she had to claim me too, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, these are my other kids. These kids are more needy than my actual kids.
That's probably true, yeah.
I'm more likely to set the carpet on fire.
You have set the carpet on fire.
Oh, that's bad.
I did. Then I blame Kim.
Yeah, you did.
So, yeah. So, Tom, you seen what was the difference? I'm guessing that putting client info in AWS is no different. AWS, that I know of, has not had any major breaches. There's obviously somewhat concern because you're running VMs inside their system, but their level of trust is based on it. But you kind of have, I will say that between AWS, Azure, and Google, to my knowledge, and maybe someone, I'm interested if there is, To my knowledge, none of them have had any major security breaches. Their entire business model is based on trust. If a person at one of the big cloud providers was caught stealing a VM and proprietary information, the entire trust foundation of that company would be at stake. So I think they take it very, very seriously. But smaller companies that want to provide me a service that no one ever, this outside the IT business, no one's heard of IT Glue. I'll use them as an example again. But if something happens there, I mean, granted, I would rant about it, but I've ranted about these other companies not using 2FA and people keep using them. We've seen Kaseya had a couple breaches. People keep using them. People think, they were installing crypto miners. They had a somehow attack happen. I don't know exactly how, but their system was sending crypto miners to people's servers. They're still in business. It doesn't seem to affect these other companies as much for whatever reason. So, hi again. Vendor Wi-Fi deploy in some area of PH. I'm planning on PFSense using voucher. $1 one day internet. So the question is, how many meters Wi-Fi goes outside? How many meters Wi-Fi goes is going to be completely dependent on the device you buy. Go to UniFi's website if you're going to buy a UniFi device, and they tell you how many meters range it has. Does Windows 10 need to die? It's self-destructing. We're not even. It doesn't need our help. So as long as I hear, yeah. So let's see what else we got here. We deal with many family law firms, healthcare, GDPR, etc. They have to be in compliance with the regulation. As an MSP, do you gauge?
What's been different?
Yeah, most of the time, yeah, being in compliance is not rocket science. We're not doing their compliance auditing. We're not the people to come in and do their GDPR compliance. We sub that out. So we recommend other companies. We've recommended CBI Secure to some of them because they specifically focus on compliance auditing. We make sure what we do is compliance audit. And part of the problem is, and I'm sick of hearing this from clients, but we tell them, because you'll see stuff in records just sitting out on a table, which you're like, hey, you left medical record table, you shouldn't do that. Oh, what are you, the HIPAA police? No.
But not our problem, I guess. I mean, we let you know.
So we deal with them. I'm not. It's a whatever. We do our part as long as nothing that we're doing. Them leaving medical records out. Hey, whatever. We say they shouldn't. We're not enforcing that. They're not asking us to enforce it. So it's kind of a whatever thing. So I'm not worried about being sued in that. Matter of fact, we have had one client that had a security breach and they were not following anything. We told them we had our recommendations. They chose to ignore them. They let someone have remote access with full admin, which we said was a bad idea. They enabled it. We didn't get sued. They got fined, not us. So, yeah, someone says it was the idiots at Kaseya that didn't patch their stuff. Yeah,
That's
twice.
That's not what he said. Close.
Yeah.
Making it
Stuff.
PG.
I'm making it PG. Yeah, that led to the exploit miner. Like I said, there's these companies that you have to trust. And this is one of the reasons that I've decided for now, it works good for us. The wiki, how do you think of the wiki? You have access to it. I mean, it's pretty easy to read. It's pretty easy to edit.
I think it's better than using LastPass for all that information. That
It's
seems
much
like it
more
would be-
organized.
Yeah, it's way more organized. It's organized
We've got a
than Wiki would
template
be.
that we structure all the data in, so everything's in the same spot
Yeah.
for customers.
And watch my wiki
Easily
video. I
searchable.
show you how we use it, how we use a template, how we structure data in it. It's really simple. And when you're managing data for, 300 something businesses we have in there, or whatever that number is, I don't know, I don't count exactly how many businesses are supporting right now, but it's a great place to put all that data and have it all in one place so I can find it, because the customer calls and we need to look up, okay, what was the setting for this? What was the setting 3 years ago for, what was the password for the site to site we installed 3 years ago for a client? Got to have the data somewhere. Where else would you put the password for each site to site? Where would you put all the settings and documentation for the IP addresses for that site to site? LastPass doesn't really have that in there, so yeah. It's LastPass is good though. We do use LastPass especially for our website work. LastPass is how we have everything saved. LastPass is pretty cool because they don't have access to your passwords. So if a company had a system where they didn't have access to the data or could do structured data, that would be very interesting to me. LastPass has done that. LastPass for sharing website passwords works great. and they don't have access to your data. Therefore, I like LastPass. So, is strong password and clear text in a wiki secure? It's as secure as the access you limit to it.
Right.
Yeah, someone else said they use LastPass. For doing all of our WordPress stuff, like we manage a lot of WordPress sites. I don't know how many we have in there, but we host a lot. We have a hosting, and then we do website development. Yeah, LastPass is clearly the easiest way to do that. That's just way easier than managing users individually on every site. Because when I have to update a patch for something, I can just update the shared LastPass password, and it updates and it works. What else was I going to talk about? I think that's about it.
He was asking if you encrypted the wiki.
The wiki's encrypted, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't just walk off with the drive.
You can't walk off with the wiki. So is that the question? I guess
It's definitely highly secure. I mean,
Yeah.
it was kind of hard for me to get in when we were creating my account.
There were a couple of hoops you had to jump through too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So-
we use SolarWinds. We don't use Nagios or Zabbix. All the stuff we're doing is SolarWinds has its own set of tools for all that. The complaint some people have is SolarWinds is pricey, but you don't get all those features for free. And their developers are constantly like, SolarWinds has not increased my bill, but I keep getting more features. So you can look at that as a positive sum game. Like they've added so much
And
stuff.
Whenever there's a problem, they're really like on top of it. There's always somebody.
They
you
have
can
a
talk
support
to.
that you could reach out to. Like
Yeah, there's support.
we've had odd little issues deploying it, and just can you guys give us a hand? And they're like, oh yeah, no, right away.
Yeah, like we can't get this. We can't get the AV to install on one of the client's computers, and they'll remote into it if you want, even
Yeah.
and take a look at it. Oh yeah, this there's a remnant of something else that doesn't show up in add and remove programs, but there's still something here. Here you go.
Yeah,
They'll fix
their team is really support on that. Probably the heaviest time I had to use it, and I got to do a follow-up video on the SolarWinds backup program because it's been enhanced so much. We've gone through a couple revisions. I realized it was a year ago that I did the last video on the SolarWinds backup, but we had an incident for a client, and SolarWinds was awesome at helping us getting everything set up. And the reason I say awesome is because we've had incidents before and we just restored it. They helped us with an old version of SolarWinds backup running a 2003 server, even though it's not supported. I know their official stance is we don't support it or whatever, but they helped us out because we have a client that has a legacy 2003 system and it still runs a SolarWinds backup. It's a very specific database program. It only runs in that server 2003. And when we had to reset some things up, including the backup for it, they were really helpful in setting it up, even though it's technically not supported in their stack anymore.
Thoughts on Hikvision cameras? Yeah, you're not supposed to use them anymore.
Hikvision, what do you think on them? The government says I can't have them, so I must need more of them.
I think they're fine. Other than
They're
that.
actually pretty nice cameras.
They are.
The quality's pretty good on them.
Yeah.
I've been
And they
sitting here
work great
playing
with
with
ExactVision systems. The problem is the next camera in ExactVision that has full support start around $300-400
Yeah.
Per camera.
per camera.
Yeah, these
on
Hik-
top of the $100 ExactVision license.
Yeah. So because we do a lot of ExactVision for large-scale commercial systems, so once you get to some of the scale, UniFi is good, and we've done some larger UniFi camera systems, but the person we were talking about delegating, what's the total camera count they have right now, roughly?
Amongst all buildings?
Yeah.
16 on a LaView at one location.
The ExactVision counts.
Exact 72 on one system. I think just shy of 50 on the second system, and in the 30s on the third system.
So they have like 250 cameras or so on there, and a lot of them are Hikvision that we had on there. We're replacing the old Axiom cameras. Is that what they were?
They had Access and Sony's.
Access and Sony's, and we've been really happy with these. The quality's good, the support's good, and everything else. So, yeah, we haven't had a problem with them. Matter of fact, all the Hikvision ones we installed, they haven't died, they haven't quit.
We've had one guy, and all the couple hundreds that we've used.
Yeah.
One.
It
of them
had a
came
bad
back
seal
down.
outside.
Oh, okay.
And-
That was the one Corey put up.
Yeah.
And then within like a couple weeks, I'm like, when he took it back down to switch him over to a UniFi system, because he had an old Hikvision NVR that they didn't update anymore. When Corey pulled it down, it was full of water.
Yeah.
Like just completely.
And we won't rule out because of the area that it was in and a reason for the camera that kids weren't throwing rocks at it or something.
Yeah.
Because the other camera was damaged too. So we'll take that with a grain of salt.
At that building, I think they only had one of those Hikvisions. Same thing. We think a kid threw a rock at it.
So,
Our
question-
thoughts. Someone asked what our
Yeah.
thoughts on the Exact
if
Vision
you've used it
system.
the most, how do you feel about the Exact Vision system?
Yeah.
It's very solid. It's up there with the UniFi for what I would recommend. The downside is they just really, you pay a lot for licenses. It's, I think right now, 120 per camera license. Now the good thing is once you get the system set up, and if you do it all right the first time and don't plan on adding cameras and having to update, you can let it sit and let that thing lapse and it'll keep working. They don't shut it off if you let it fall out of licensing. But if you go to add new cameras, like today, I just had to update their server for the newer Hikvisions. So you will have to have it within license to do the updates. It's very efficient. It doesn't take a lot of RAM. It doesn't take a lot of processor. But it'll work faster for every core you throw at it. So we just beefed them up to a Dell server because ExactVision will let you download the software for free. They sell expensive boxes with like 3-year support contracts, or they tell you you could just build your own thing and install our software on it. The software is free. Where they get you all is the license per camera. So we ordered a Dell server, and because it was a lot cheaper with just a bunch of storage.
Someone said that the raids crashed on there. That comes down to server config because it's if your raid's crashing, that's a server config issue. So, all right. Well, I'm going to jump off here so I can get some more work done. I got a hard drive to fix. I have a Linux box to load over here that I should be loading so I can get it dropped off because I got to drop that off tonight. I know, and it's already 7:30.
I know. Yeah, it is. Almost.
I know. Day's burning. More videos coming soon. When Corey's not busy, we're gonna make him clean his truck. It has been in the 90s here, so that has also curbed our desire to clean. Well, curbed Corey's desire and our desire to do a video about the stuff in his truck.
It has been unusually warm for September.
We've had some really crazy.
Yeah.
We're not used to this Florida weather. It's been like 90s and humid, and that's not Michigan
PC,
weather.
Mac, or Linux.
So
It depends what you
go to
wanna
the
do.
rave party next
Yeah.
door.
It's
Don't
not
use
a
a
rave
Mac.
party.
I might
promise
go.
you. Oh.
Oh.
Is an occupational education center for IT during high school a good idea? I have no idea.
Never went.
I never
Yes.
went. Look, he says yes.
The problem is a lot of times in schools, the kids who went to like Gibraltar had a bit of a heads up because they actually had Cisco and basic networking classes
We had
Yeah.
done something.
available to them.
Yep.
We had
Yeah,
something.
see, in Lincoln Park we didn't have that.
No.
So they had a bit of a head start on a lot of us.
It is useful because I
It
had
is.
a Cisco class in high school
Like,
that was actually
The basic
helpful.
Cisco classes actually teach you a lot about like network structure and that. So they're actually really nice to take.
Man,
Yeah, any
it's
chance you
hot
can
in Canada.
get to learn anything.
I have an entire video on my thoughts on schooling. The Sum It Up TLD didn't watch.
College is dumb.
No,
I'm in
there's-
college. I'm almost my bachelor's.
I regret
Oh,
going.
Yeah. So I think education is really important, and there's a lot of different ways to get it. Some people it's college, some people it's like me, I didn't go, so it wasn't my thing.
What's funny is everybody he's employed, at least in this room, has been or is
Everyone
currently
I've
going.
employed since
Yes.
working has gone
Yes,
to college.
actually.
I'm actually the only one who hasn't. So
How many degrees do you have, Kyle?
I only have the one. You have
Okay.
multiples.
I have an associate's so far.
2 associates and a bachelor's.
Oh, it's 2
I have one
associates.
That's what I have.
Call me.
Everyone that works for me has a higher degree than me.
I
Well, a higher school degree, a lower degree of like life experience and functionality.
Absolutely.
I'm
Again,
apathetic.
we are like his children.
Like somebody asked me, what would happen if Tom fired you? I would probably just leave the house for a few hours.
What's Corey's education though?
I think just high school.
I thought
He did trades.
yeah, he did a trade
Corey
school.
did trades.
He did trade
Yeah,
school,
he did a
so
whole
Yeah.
bunch of trade stuff.
He did HVAC trades for a while.
that's right, HVAC.
Yep.
Okay.
He's been trained in all sorts of different.
Ooh.
Corey.
Yeah, he finished high school. He did the apprenticeship, I think, for HVAC, and he didn't care for it. Like, he started it. I don't know if he finished.
Oh well, back to the hiring smart people. Hire people with degrees, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm out of brains today. It's 7:30 p.m. here, and I got at least 2 more hours to work before I get to go home, and whatever else I do. Good news is, I can go get coffee if I need to. My daughter works at a coffee place now. She's. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, smash that like button, or whatever the hell people say these. No.
Smash that.
Don't
like
devolve.
button. Oh, and something about the bell.
Like and subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell.
Hit that bell. Like and subscribe. Hopefully YouTube will notify you when crap's happening or when I'm doing something exciting. Follow me on the Twitters.
Google my Twitters.
Google my Twitters. Links are in the description below.
YouTube my Facebook.
YouTube my Facebook. Links are in the doobly-doo below.
I Google my Twitter and
I Google my Twitter. And
I Google my Facebook and Twitter all the time.
coffee's good. Join our forums.
We have
Ask
forums?
questions.
We have forums?
We have forums?
We don't have forums.
Well,
we have forums.
no.
Just making it up.
We do have
No,
forums.
we have forums, but these guys are on Facebook. So I'm on Facebook for reasons unknown. I don't know why I'm doing it, so.
You should go
I don't know why I'm
on our
doing it.
Facebook forums.
I just have Facebook to look at forums.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, thanks. All right, someone's got to go in here and turn it off.
I know where the button
Yep,
is.
the new guy. Do you know where the button is? Hit the stop
Yes, I
streaming
do.
button.
Dab on those Windows users.
Dab on those Windows, dab on those Linux users. My son, we all got to dab out. Is that how do you do that?
I don't know.
Dude, I'm too old to dab.
Is that it?
Sure.
I don't play enough Fortnite. I don't know how that works.
I don't play enough Fortnite to dab.
Yeah.